Okay, I'm going to show you what the sourdough starter looks like after it's been fed and sitting here out in the window for about 4 hours. I started with a cup of sourdough starter. I added a cup of flour, enough water to get the consistency that I wanted, and I let it go. So at that point I had a little over 2 cups. Now it's probably up to 8 cups. Notice it looks like a sponge. That's what you want. Also notice it was getting ready to push the top off the jar. I started with it about here. So this means it's active. If I don't use it while it's active, it's going to deflate and deactivate, and then you gotta start all over. To start all over, you'd have to stir it good, take half of it out, feed it with another cup of flour and add water, and then let it rise again. The key is this took 4 hours because it had been in the refrigerator. If I needed to make something else, because I'm going to make 1 loaf of bread with it, but if I needed more than a cup of sourdough to use in my recipe, I'd feed it and let it go again. Probably in about an hour it'd be ready to go, simply because it's already been activated. So what I'm going to do is stir it down. Okay, what we're doing here, we're getting the air out of it. So it's much thicker than it was originally. All right, I'm going to use about half of it. I'm going to put it in the bottom of my bowl. You'd want to measure yours. Most recipes call for a cup. This recipe calls for a cup, but I've done this till I know how much I want. Now, what's left in this is a little over a cup, and that's going back in the refrigerator. To this is my recipe. Yours can be completely different. There's many, many recipes that usually only water, flour, and salt. I use whole wheat flour. You may want to use all-purpose flour or bread flour. So I'm going to start with a cup of milk with a tablespoon of oil. I use olive oil. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon and a half of salt. Mixing that in. And now, this has 3 cups of freshly milled whole wheat flour. Whole wheat is a little different in that it absorbs more moisture, so I will use less flour. If you were using regular flour with this recipe, you'd want to use 3.5 cups of flour. I'm going to slowly mix it in here as long as I can stir. Okay, once I've got it mixed really good and I can't stir it any longer, or it's hard to stir, I'm going to let it set for about 15 minutes so that the flour can absorb a lot of the moisture. Then I'm going to put it in my KitchenAid on speed number 1 with the hook. If you don't have a KitchenAid, then you can knead by hand, obviously, or lots of people like to use their bread machine. I don't do bread machines. But at any rate, I'll let you know what it looks like when it's done. Thanks.